Right, so today I thought I'd make something cheap, delicious, and really easy to make. And they're my Indian-ish paratha parcels. And the filling is going to be chicken thighs and spices. You could use like other meats, like I've done this with minced pork. You could use like leftover lamb, minced turkey, minced chicken. Use whatever meat you've got handy. But they are really, really good. Nice and juicy on the inside, nice and spicy. And then you've got that crispy paratha on the outside. These make a great snack, great lunch, and they come together in no time at all. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to make them. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Adam, what the hell is a flipping paratha? This is a paratha. Well, they come in a pack of 5. You can get bigger packs as well. And I've gone for the onion ones. And that was, what, just under £2 for a pack of 5. So that's, what, about 40p per paratha. So really cheap, really versatile. You can make your own dough as well if you want, but who's got time for that? Get the frozen ones, they're great. First things first, we need to do a little bit of prep. So, onion, garlic, ginger. So first things first, the onion, one of my least favourite jobs, as we all flipping know. Peel it, you know the drill. And we're just going to roughly dice this up. You don't want the dice to be too big because this is going to come together quite quick. We're going to make some ginger garlic paste. You can use the jarred stuff. It's absolutely fine. Just kind of be wary of which brand you use because some of them can be a bit nasty. Some of them can be really vinegary and not very pleasant. So just kind of be careful. But I've got some ginger left over, so I might as well use that. So I'm making a right hash job of this, and a couple of cloves of garlic as well, just peel those. And then all we do is take the peeled garlic and ginger and just finely mince it into a little bowl. If you haven't got a microplane, I suggest you get one because they're absolutely fantastic. Great bit of kitchen kit. I'll leave a link on the screen if you want to purchase one yourself. I absolutely swear by them because look, it makes such short work of that garlic and ginger. So you really want about equal quantities of each, and then just add the tiniest bit of water, literally like half a teaspoon. Give that a bit of a mix up, and then you have freshly made ginger garlic paste. Right, next thing, we need to prep the chicken thighs. And here's where you need to make a decision really on what protein you're going to use. Because as I've said, this will work with chicken, pork, lamb, beef, whatever you've got to hand really. I'm using chicken thighs because, well, they need using up, to be honest. Are they on the turn? No, they're fine. Your senses will tell you when something like meat is off, right? If it smells like rancid shit, it's going to taste like rancid shit, isn't it? If it smells of like raw chicken or raw beef or raw pork, then it's fine, isn't it? Okay, people throw away meat too much these days and end up with a lot of food waste. Anyway, so what I'm going to do with this chicken is I'm going to dice it up nice and fine. Almost like mince. So I'm going to roughly chop it first and just kind of hack my way through it. It's absolutely chucking it down. Jesus. But you don't want to watch me do that, so I'll see you in a bit. It's a little bit wet. Right, so my chicken is nicely chopped up there, nice and fine. But as with raw chicken, obviously make sure you sanitise your surfaces, wash your hands, etc, etc, because no one wants to get salmonella. So we are ready to rock and roll. So you have yourself a pan here, put the light on the hob. Going to add a little bit of oil, and I'm going to get the hob onto about a 5, so fairly high. And as the oil's heating up, we'll go in with our diced onion. Now, unlike a lot of recipes where I add onion, we don't really want to sweat these down too much. We want to kind of cook them through, but we also want some colour on there. That little bit of caramelisation is really going to add to the flavour of the filling. So after about 3 to 5 minutes, once your onion has got a nice bit of colour in there, I'm going to go in with our chicken. And it just makes like a couple of chicken thighs go such a long way. I mean, I'm only going to make 2 of these wraps up, but there's enough filling here for like 4, maybe 5 at a push. And I'm also going to add a nice heaped teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. Now, in terms of spices, it's really quite mildly spiced. There's really not a lot in there. We're going to use some turmeric, we're going to use some cumin, a bit of coriander, some chilli powder, and a bit of fenugreek in there as well. So it's very, very delicate. And these spices are readily available. You can get them from any supermarket. But I strongly suggest going to your Asian supermarkets. A, because they're better quality, and you get a lot more for your money. And I've got my spices in my tin. Actually, they need filling up, to be fair. But I'm using my tin here. It's called a masala dabba, and I strongly recommend getting one because they're a great way to organise your regular spices that you use. All nice and neat in that little tin. It just makes it more accessible. And again, the exact quantities will be in the description below. And I'm going with about half a teaspoon, which is about that much in it. Turmeric, coriander powder, cumin, and probably about half a teaspoon of chilli powder because there's chilli in my paratha as well. So I'm going to go steady on that. And then also some fenugreek or methi. Add that in there. And just a smidgen of salt. As with any kind of curry, where you're using spices like this, you do need to cook them out. It just livens them up, wakens them up, and just adds to it, gives it a better flavour. So just leave that for a couple of minutes. Be careful not to burn them though. If you burn them, it's game over. You're going to have to start again because it will taste bitter and acrid. Okay, so that chicken is pretty much there. So I'm going to turn the heat down because I don't want to burn those spices. But we've got a lot of richness in there. We've got the oil, we've got the fattiness from the chicken, the depth of those spices. So we need to balance that out. So I'm going to add some sweetness in the form of some frozen peas. Just like a large handful-ish. You could use sweet corn. I've used diced tomato in this before. But this is going to add that little bit of sweetness. But also we need a bit of acid to balance everything out. So got a bit of lemon. You don't need a lot. I'd say about a quarter, maybe half. And there we have our filling. And I'm just going to decant our filling into a bowl here. So we need to let this cool down to room temperature. If you try and make your paratha wraps with this whilst it's hot, it's going to be a bloody doughy, melty mess. And whilst your mixture is cooling down, we're going to take out our parathas because we actually need these to thaw out. I mean, usually if you were to have them as is, you cook them from frozen in the frying pan, but we need to kind of fold them, so we need them to be a bit malleable. They won't take long because you can see like they're super thin. They'll kind of thaw out in a couple of minutes, 5 minutes or so, something like that. But once you've thawed them out, you can't refreeze them, so it says on the packet. I'm not quite sure why. I think it may be a quality issue more than a bacterial issue. I don't know. Okay, so it's been about 10-15 minutes or so. Our parathas are nice and soft, so we need to get the filling out, so that should be sufficiently cool by now. So to assemble these is an absolute doddle, so I'm going to show you one. So these parathas come in a film, okay? So you want to gently peel off that layer of film. It should come off fairly straightforward. Just obviously don't rush it. And then we're just going to spoon in some of our filling in the centre. Don't overfill it, but you also want to be quite generous. And I've left a generous sort of edge. So what we're going to do is kind of score the knife and cut it into like little sections. It's just going to help fold this over a lot easier. And then just on the top of each one, I'm going to add just a little slab of butter, and then just fold over each section like so, and it will sort of, oh, didn't cut that one, did I? Silly. Just keep folding it over until you make, well, a parcel. Okay, and then just simply work it until you seal the top, like so, and then just kind of gently press down, because you don't want these to be too thick, because if they're too thick, you know, the filling's not going to be hot, you know, before the pastry's cooked. Until you end up with something that looks a little bit like that. Again, make sure you spend some time on it, make sure there's no holes, no filling poking out and stuff like that. But I'm going to pop those in the fridge just, I'd say for about half an hour or so, just to kind of firm up a little bit. That'll just make them easier to cook. And you'll see there's enough filling there for another one, but I've also scoffed a load of that on its own whilst we were waiting, so there's actually enough there for another 2. So we'll get 4 or 5 out of this filling, no problem. Right, we are ready to cook these parathas. So I've got a pan here, and I'm going to pop this onto a medium heat. You don't want the pan too hot, because if it's too hot, then the paratha will burn before you've warmed up the inside. So I'm going to put that on about a 4. And get our parathas out of the fridge. Okay, and as that pan is starting to heat up, I'm going to lay down our paratha parcels. No oil, don't need any oil in these. And I would say they're going to take about 4 minutes each side, but just kind of watch them. It also depends how thick you've made yours, but again, just try and seal up any holes that you see. Make sure to flip them 3 or 4 times, because you want that nice golden colour evenly on each side. And as they sort of cook as well, what I'm doing is I'm sort of moving the pan sort of towards the centre of the ring, and I'm pushing the sides of the parathas against the side of the pan. That just sort of helps sort of cook the edges of the paratha as well. Okay, right, these puppies are done. My old trusty bit of slate here. I've had this thing for about, I reckon about 14, 15 years, this slate. I actually had this when I was a food blogger, way before YouTube. I just like it, I've become attached to it. So, here's our paratha parcels. But what do we say with food like this? Leave it alone, right? Because you just come out of the pan, it's gonna be like molten bloody lava inside. We're hotter than the devil's arse crack, so just leave them alone for a couple of minutes. Okay, and then we'll cut one open, you can have a look inside. Okay, right, so I've left these a couple of minutes. Let's have a little look. Let's cut one open so you can see inside. Look at that gorgeous filling inside there. Let's give it a bash. I know they say it's rude to compliment your own food, but that's bloody delicious. It's giving like a samosa vibe, I guess, but super delicious. And so bloody cheap as well. I mean, if I properly costed that out, I think they'll come in under £1 each easily. So super affordable, super tasty. Serve that up like on its own. You can make like a little raita with that, with some yogurt, some mint, coriander in there. So you've got that nice contrast from the heat and the cold. That would actually be really good, but I don't have any. Super easy, super delicious, and importantly, bloody affordable. Because in this economy, as we all know, we're being bloody shafted, aren't we? So anyway, I'm gonna leave you, and I'll see your gorgeous faces next time. Ta-ra for now.